Rich Ortiz here with the fighter's voice, the only voice that matters. You have that fighter on you right now. You have that. Talk about Mexican Independence Day. We can call this Teddy Atlas here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You heard it from the champ himself, simply knocking out the competition. Not Rich Ortiz here with the fighter's voice, the only voice that matters. And like Eddie
Lopez, because Josh Taylor is
the 4th division world champion, Mikey Garcia. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And I'm like our guest, Alexis Molina. We're simply knocking out the competition. This young, beautiful talent works for ESPN, also does all the Fresno State games, 559 fights, is the management company of Heart of California. I can go on and on because she's been an intern. Her resume will take up the whole show. Enough said, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome our guest, Alexis Molina. Welcome to The Fighter's Voice.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine. I've watched your work. I've watched you. I've heard good things about you. Many people have said, hey, you got to have her on the show. So I reached out to you. Enough said, and now we're here.
Yes, I'm very excited. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. So first of all, Happy New Year. I hope you have a great 2024. I hope your career continues to prosper, manifest, and just blow up and share it with The Fighter's Voice.
Yeah, thank you. I know I have a lot of big plans for this year, so I'm really excited to just have my career start to grow.
Well, good. Before we talk about those plans, let's jump right to it. What got you into broadcasting, and why the love of being behind the mic?
Well, I actually my basketball coach in high school, JT, so shout out to JT.
JT.
He coached me at Roosevelt. He told me I would always argue with the boys about basketball games or football games and like my own take on certain things. And he noticed I had a really high basketball IQ, like just because I've always watched it constantly, whether it was college or NBA, WNBA. And he's like, Alexis, you should be a sports reporter or a commentator. And I never thought about it too much until we went to ESPN Radio and they had Coach Q interview us. And I told him, like, hey, I want to do this. And it became possible once I was in my, like, I want to say sophomore year of college, because it was a dream. But then I'm like, I want a lot of money. So I studied business, because like business, you could find a job anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I just felt like something was missing because I didn't want to have to go to work and it be something that I just dreaded. I wanted to feel like I wasn't working at all. I wanted to not have a 9 to 5 or just something that wasn't happy doing. So then I added a second major, broadcast journalism at Fresno State. Started working with Kim Stevens. She's an amazing professor. Then entered with Fresno State Athletics, and it just got the ball rolling.
Well, yeah, when that opportunity comes your way, so to speak, or I would say rolls your way, you take advantage of it. You make sure you're ready and capitalize on it. And it sounded like you were just waiting for that opportunity, and it sounded like you created your opportunity. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say so, because I I took advantage of a lot of internships. Even when I had an internship with ESPN Radio, I was taking 21 units, so I had like 7 classes. That internship, the internship with Fresno State at the same time, so I wasn't coming home until super late. I would stay and ask, is there anything I could do? I could get water, I could get you guys something to eat, like anything just to be involved. And then I met Demetrius Porter. He played at Fresno State, played overseas, has his own wine company. He talked to my business class, and I waited until the end of the Zoom for just one-on-one talking with him. Told him I wanted to be a sports reporter. He's like, I have an event coming up. I want your information. I asked him to mentor me. Then he had the Heart of California Basketball Classic. And ever since then, that's when like everything started taking off. And he just got me really into the industry. I met so many people, and it's really just networking and taking advantage. And you have to realize that if you want something big, you have to do the dirty work first. You can't go in there thinking, I'm going to be the sports reporter, I'm going to be the commentator. Like, you have to start from somewhere, whether you're not getting paid for it and you're working crazy hours or not. Like it's just taking advantage of whatever's given to you.
Well, hey, there you go. And you don't just do basketball. You do mixed martial arts. How did you get involved in 559 fights? When did that call come, or when did you make the transition?
So it's funny. This is why I tell so many people in college internships are your best friend, because I was interning for my TV 53 and this was after college. So at this point, all my friends are already getting jobs. I applied for jobs and let's just say I wasn't really feeling a lot of the criticism I got from them, and a lot of it had to do with like my look and
Oh,
everything.
I feel you.
So I met my TV 53 and the team there is so awesome. I entered with them for a little bit with the news, and then they got a sports segment, and they're like, "Hey, we're getting Central Valley Fuego, and we're getting the 559 fights. Do you want to be a part of it?" So as soon as I heard that, I took the opportunity right away because they're not my main sports. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie and say I'm a big soccer fan or I was a big MMA fan. I wasn't, but the fact that that's an opportunity, I had to study so much, watch so much film, and it's hard because like we could talk basketball all day, we could talk football all day, but I had to work and really study the other two sports. So it was challenging, but I felt comfortable enough that hey, if I'm doing this with a sport that I've never played before and I never watched before and I feel comfortable, imagine how I'll do when it's basketball or it's football.
Well, it's just like when like, okay, like when you say, I'm going to go see a movie and somebody watches it before you and they say, oh, it really wasn't that good. You still have to decide for
Mhm.
yourself. And for you to say, you know what, I'm
Yeah.
not going to try soccer because I'm not into it. I'm not going to try MMA because I'm not into it. Who knows? You may just love it. I'm gonna mention a name right now. Ali Setback, who was an ace in the hole as far as basketball, uh, personal friends with Kobe Bryant. He did a boxing segment, and the rest is history. He fell in love. To this day, I call him one of the goats in social media because he is one of the best. His black buck speaks for himself, but it's all because he tried it and he went for it. So you never want to sell yourself short. Now, to this day, I'm still not going to
Mhm.
eat mayonnaise. I don't like mayonnaise and I don't like onions. So, but I will try other sports if need be, but you never know until you try it and give it a shot for yourself.
Exactly. And I think that's the goal for me is to be as well-rounded as I can because if you think about sports, it really comes in seasons as far as like basketball,
Yes,
football season and to be able to have different sports under your belt and saying, "Hey,
absolutely.
I have knowledge on all of this. If you need me for a fight on Saturday and a football game on Sunday, I could do that for you." And just being able to handle and have knowledge in different parts as far as like a commentator. I could commentate for you, I could report for you, I could write for you, I could handle your social media. That's how you sell yourselves in like job interviews and everything.
Hey, I agree with you. Absolutely. It sounds like, you're on the right foot, so to speak, and you're moving forward and you got a good team around you. When I say good team, sometimes your team consists of me, self, I, which is your self driven. And
Hmm.
sometimes you need that. And, it's okay to take, how can I say it? When Richard said, "Hey," people would tell me, "Richard, don't do this, don't do that." Some of it I received. The other half, I told them they can go to hell with it. I didn't tell them personally, but I'm thinking in my
Yeah.
mind, do I tell you what shoes to wear?
Yeah.
Do I tell you what this? Now, I had a Hall of Famer. He said, I went to go cover an event in Fresno. He said, "Richard, make sure you wear a suit." Now, that's good advice. I'll take that. But I had nobody ever telling
Hmm.
me, you know, anything that I truly didn't believe in. Now, if it was a eyesore, okay, I get with them. You go with the crowd. But when you follow your gut, when your gut says no, be yourself, then just be yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that a lot because I interviewed with stations in Fresno and around the area because usually with well how I was taught in school, you go to a news station, you go to a smaller one, small market, you do like 2 to 3 years, you could transfer to a medium-sized market, do another year or two and hopefully get into sports that way. Well, I tried to apply for places around here and I'm a dancer. Like I've danced since I was little, so I could be
Uh
critiqued.
huh.
You could give me constructive criticism. I could take it without getting hurt. So at the end of the interview, I always ask, like, do you have any criticism for me? And I was so hurt because 2 times I got told stuff about my hair. They're like, is there a way you could like tame it or maybe fix it? And I'm like, okay, like I'm just gonna take it from you. But in my mind, I'm like, no, because there's little girls with curly hair out there, and why can't I have my curly hair on TV?
Hey, well,
So when I
I
got
like
the
your hair.
chance,
It's good. It's working for you.
thank you. Thank you. So yeah, when I got the chance with my TV 53, it was something that they loved about me. They're like, it's different, it's you, it's and like it's my natural hair, so it's like a part of, I feel like, my culture, like just to have my curls out there and to just let it do what it wants to do.
Hey, you got to be yourself, and there's always a time to, I would say, compromise. But a compromise means taking also feedback from you, not just from one side. Um,
Hmm.
what broadcaster out there really influenced you, and who do you watch today, and where you still be able to, watch them and as if to say, "Hey, I like what he or she is doing."
I would say, well, my favorite reporter is Malika Andrews, and I just say her because I feel like growing up, I seen Doris Burke all the time. I seen Erin Andrews and stuff on TV, but seeing Malika, and I know some people, I feel like with her, some people either hate her or they love her. But the fact that she's really authentic to herself, she's really professional, and she's a woman who's a minority, and she's doing her thing, and she's breaking down these barriers for other minority women. I love that about her.
I'm gonna give you a name right now, and just look her up and watch her. Trust me, she's been on the show before. Christina Potcher for ESPN Top Rank, and she went from the
Oh,
NFL Network to the sport of boxing. Just watch her how she conducts herself. Another one is I would say, and the ones I name are always in the sports atmosphere world, and Mark Kriegel, who I believe is one of the best. And you also got Bernardo Osuna. I'll give you some names later, and there's a lot of them that are out there, and it seems like you have your own list too. But iron sharpens iron. It's just something I wanted to share with you.
no, yeah, thank you so much for that. I like listening to different broadcasters or interviewers because everybody has their own thing about them. Like some of them like to focus more on the hard-hitting questions or about the stats. And some people like to maybe dive a little more into like the details of why they do what they're doing and like who they are. So it helps me watching different people figure out what I want to do and what I think that can make me different.
Well, exactly. And I'll say something about myself real quick. I'm not the reporter who's going to drown you. I'm here to help you stay afloat. I'm here to help you rescue you from drowning. Now, I'll ask you a tough question, and you can ask yourself, am I going to get on the boat or stay in the water? I'll leave that up to you. It's just a question that needs to be asked. But
Mhm.
if you're looking for someone who's going to drown an athlete or a guest, wrong person. I wasn't born to do that. But I'm here to
Yeah.
help people stay afloat because I'm here to make you look as good as possible. And other analysts and other reporters, broadcasters, they got one foot in there holding you underwater, and it's just not me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But sometimes the business, you can ask those tough questions, but it sounds like you're on your way. I mean, you're completely on your way. 2024, you said your goals are very high. Do you mind sharing the viewers, fans, followers? Share some of those goals with us, so we make sure they come to
Um
pass.
yeah, so I eventually want to start covering basketball, but I did the Heart of California, got to interview Scottie Pippen's son, Justin Pimpin, and then Tunde Yesufu. Remember that name cuz I promise you he's going to be the next LeBron James. Like that
Okay,
kid is
okay.
something
You
else.
Hey, you heard it
Like
first on the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters.
yeah, I'm telling you right now, that boy is gonna be something different. A junior and he's scoring like 40 points a game is insane. His body structure, he's built like that's why he reminds me so much of LeBron, like a young LeBron. But yeah, I so we're gonna have another Heart of California. Since I did that one, I got asked last minute, like day of, hey, can you host it and give out the MVP awards, hype up the crowd, and do interviews after each game? And I'm like, sure, let's do
Wow,
it.
that's awesome.
So I did that, did the interviews in front of everybody there, and I one of the guys seen me do an interview. He reached out to me on Instagram because I posted right after, hey, if anybody wants to work together, my DMs are open. Like, I'm open to anything, any and everything. So he messaged me, Justin, and he likes to focus on Samoan athletes. So there's this like a documentary he's doing of Tahina. She goes to South Carolina. She's a basketball player, one of the best basketball players I've seen, and then being with South Carolina, that's a number one ranked team.
Yeah.
Well, she's gonna play LSU, so we're gonna go to LSU, do some interviews with her, maybe Flage, hopefully the head coach of South Carolina. I'm just excited about that, and then we have more things planned for that, and yeah, we're trying to figure out how to do something more involved with MMA and just like the whole 559 fight scene, and how to keep that going so it's not just once a month type of thing.
There you go. Some good ideas there. I mean, just earlier on the show, we had the vice president of Combate Global, Mike Inframowitz. Gonna have to link you up with him sometime.
Yeah. My main goal though for the year is, hopefully I want to go to NBA Summer League and cover it so bad, because I have a couple of friends from college that are going to play in it, and to be able to, like, hey, now I feel comfortable enough to get my foot in the door and to be a part of it. That's like the main goal of 2024.
Well, there you go. That's a great goal, and that's an accomplishment that's very well possible. And you told me, remember the name, right? That he's to be, the next LeBron James. Well, just remember the name Alexis Molina, especially when you see her on ESPN and she has her hair exactly the way she wants it.
Yes, exactly. That's, I think, the one thing that probably will never change about me is the hair. The hair is going to be curly and it's going to be big and it's just going to be out there. So
Well, make sure it's on the
it might be my
negotiation
signature
table
thing.
with your agent or your manager, and that's non-negotiable.
Yeah,
Is to say my client gets to wear her hair as she pleases. That'll be on the
as
contract.
she pleases. Yes. And I switch it up sometimes. Like,
I know.
I'll
I,
do
I saw
braids on
you. I
myself.
saw you on the 559 fights. I saw you how you had it braided up.
Yeah.
Look good.
Yeah. I always braid my own hair. I like doing different designs. I mean, the guys get to wear braids. Why can't I?
Of course, of course. I have a daughter,
Yeah.
and I don't tell her to walk behind a man. Walk side by side with him because it's 50-50.
Exactly. Yeah. And see, I was raised with well, I have three sisters, so it's all girls in my house, and a dad who just taught us to be independent. I'm like his only son in a way, because I'm the one that loves all the sports.
Well,
But
there you go. There you go. That was my next question. Tell us about your family. I mean, who's your biggest fan there besides your mom? Because she tagged my Facebook and said, "Oh, that's my baby. That's my beautiful, talented baby."
yes, my mom is like my best friend. Me and her are super close. My sisters, Ariel, Naya, Mila. But my dad's the one who got me into the sports because he works in the prison. So when he started working there, I was a baby and my mom was working at a school. So I was with him all day while mom was at work. And I had to go to the barbershop. I had to watch him fix cars. I had to watch the Cowboys on TV and the Celtics on TV all the time. And he just really got me into sports. And I didn't start playing sports until high school. I played basketball, lacrosse, I did softball, but it was because of how much I watched it with him that I was able to grow in the sport. And yeah, he's my biggest fan. He's the one who watches every fight and tells me, "You need to do this, you need to do that, and don't do this. Don't say that so much." It's constructive criticism, and he's he says it in a loving way.
There you
So
go.
yeah, I told him, I'm like, once I get to cover a Celtics game or a Cowboys game, you're the first one that's going to be there on the sideline with me. Like, I'll pay for the ticket so you can watch me.
Oh, there you go. So you're a Cowboy fan. There you go. That was going to be one of my questions too.
Yeah, a Cowboy fan, big Cowboy fan, and a big Celtics fan. So he grew up watching that because of his dad, when they had their dynasties during that time, and then he passed it on to me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I haven't got to see a Super Bowl. I got to see when the Celtics won a championship. I remember that like clear as day watching it with him. But Hopefully, we get another
with Garnett.
championship soon
Yeah.
because we don't look too bad this year.
Yeah, I'm a Cowboys
Now the
fan,
Cowboys
of course, and I'm a New York Knicks
Cowboys, that's
fan.
gonna be a little harder.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, you guys got a squad. Who's your baseball team?
Um, so I'm a Giants fan, but I'm not too big in baseball.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like because NBA is just almost the whole year. You have the whole season and then you have the summer league and it just is back to back to back.
Well, I could tell your strong point, and whenever you talk about the NBA, you just light up, you just glow. So I can tell basketball. That is definitely you're passionate about it.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that's
Very
the
well
my
said, man.
favorite.
I would say. So when you played and competed, what number did you wear?
I wore number 4 in basketball, and 11 in lacrosse, but 4 was like my favorite number.
So were you the only athlete in your family? Did your brothers or sisters play? I'm sorry, your father, your mom.
So my mom did cheer and dance. My dad did football, and then my older sister, well, me, my older sister, and my little sister, we're all dancers. Like I've danced since I was 3, and I've done like competitive dancing and even like a few little videos and stuff. But um, I was the only one who actually played a sport. My other little sister, she's in high school now. She's starting to do basketball. So I'm the sister on the side, like yelling, "Ref, that was a foul. That's a travel." Like I'm the one
Hmm.
that's really into it with her. But yeah, so we do. I feel like dance is a sport, so they're pretty athletic. Not as athletic as me, but they're up there.
They're trying, and you have your footsteps, and it sounds and it looks like they're following them, but taking their own steps as well. And you're definitely an influence, as your dad and your mother and father are influence in your life. So iron sharpens iron in your family.
Yeah, definitely. I'm the one that likes the gym though. Me and my mom like to go to the gym a lot. That's our little zen area from everything that's going crazy over here.
Well, I like the gym too. I just haven't been there in a while, and I need to get my butt in there, especially for 2024. Can't let nothing stop me.
Yeah.
I'm on a little vacation right now, but I do need to make time get in there because it clears your mind. Once you're there, your mind is clear. You get the ideas, you get clarity. Um, you know, and for me, when I'm behind the microphone, it's just it takes me away from stress, worry. The whole nine.
Mhm.
It's the word I'm looking for. It's my serenity.
Yeah, exactly. It's just something that can make everything disappear, whether it's for like an hour or 2 hours. That's how I feel with dance, or how I used to feel with dance when I would do it. It's just like you get to play this character for 4 minutes on a stage and no one else matters. It's just you there. So yeah, I know the feeling.
So let me ask you this. Do you like your interviews that are taped or do you like your interviews that are live? When you're interviewing a
Um,
subject.
I would say it depends on the person because there's some people that do really good when it's live, but there's some people who I have to, especially like a lot of the 559 fighters, they haven't been interviewed before, so they're really nervous. And I have to tell them, hey, it's not live, it's not going to get on air, it's for me and my use only. So whatever you say, you can ramble on for days. I'm going to make you sound good. I will never make you sound bad. So
There you
you
go.
could give me a big old story and I'm gonna make it sound like the best story someone's ever heard. So I think it depends. Like if it's them, I'd rather it be just recorded and not shared because it makes them more comfortable. But if it's someone who is used to it, like some of the players I interviewed live was they were from Sierra Canyon. So they were more used to, the media and everything, media training. It just, yeah, it depends.
What do you prefer to do?
Um, I think probably live. I would say live because I like getting like that raw reaction rather than, hey, can I change what I said?
Yeah,
Like I like to know you for who you are. I don't want you to think too much about what you want to say. I want it to just come out.
exactly. Do you remember your first interview you conducted on camera?
Um, I don't know if it counts. At the time it was my boyfriend at the time I got to interview him. But my first like big interview with someone that was a professional athlete, I got to interview Jalen Johnson. Me and him are really good friends. So being able to interview him, and he's been interviewed plenty of times with the Bears and media and everything, and to ask him, "Hey, keep it real with me. What can I work on? What do I need to change?" It was good because it's someone who's been there, done that, and they know you enough to just keep it real and tell you, like, Alexis, that was horrible, or don't ask that question.
I've had my share of getting that before, but I it was a learning experience for me, you know, and you got to
Hmm.
be open to receive that. And it sounds like you are, and you are growing. Um, so looking back at your first interview and where you are today, what advice would you give a young person, male or female, if they wanted to break into this broadcasting industry? Industry.
I'd say to learn from your mistakes. Like, so either, and I think this is a lot to do with sports too, because it's how you take those losses and how you handle it. It's what separates you from either being a good reporter or a great reporter. If you can't grow from something, then it's never going to happen for you. You're never going to get better. If you don't make those mistakes, you're never going to learn from them. So I'd say just learning from the mistakes and breathing and not thinking so much, because I feel like sometimes we want to make sure we get everything in, and it's just so much that either it's just coming out really fast, or you're mixing up your words and just everything's just everywhere. So I'd say breathe, go ahead and let things come naturally. You can go ahead and write down a few questions of what you might want to ask, but I don't really like to look at my paper as much unless it's stats. Stats is the
Yeah.
one thing, because my memory is horrible. My memory is horrible. So stats are the one thing like I'll look down at my paper for, but I like it to be generic. I like it to be flowing. I like to actually I want to listen to the person I'm interviewing. I don't want to listen, or I don't want to be thinking about what I'm going to ask them next, cuz I feel like that's what messes you up, cuz they could say something really important
Hmm.
that you can carry on and keep digging in
Exactly.
on and make the interview great, or you could just completely go over it cuz you're not even listening.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, I'll share with you one time. I was working with a buddy of mine, and I'm not sure if it was a podcast or a radio show, but I was looking at where it might have been an interview. And I'm looking at my phone, and he passes by and he says, "You like looking at yourself, huh?" And I tell the story a lot. I said, "Is that what you see?" I said, "Because what I see is 5 mistakes that I made." I would, look at my work at all the mistakes I made, or, oh, I should have come in here, or I should have allowed him to say that, or, oh, I shouldn't have cut him off here. So he just saw me, okay, continue to look at my videos, our videos. And that's what he saw. But until I told him that, I said, "Is that what you see?" Because I was really serious. And I said, "I saw 5 mistakes that I made." Because I'm constantly trying to correct, what I do, what we do. And, I like to watch other people. I do, especially when they're on TV. Or sometimes I'll be honest with you, when I see somebody on TV and they're doing an interview, I'm thinking, why are you asking them that? Or I'll say, "You didn't ask him this." Or my frustrating part is when I'm sitting back watching, especially a boxing event, when I'm saying, "Hey, he needs to work on the jab and he needs to stay off more," and then neutralize his right hand. Boom, 30 seconds later, now they're saying it. And I'm thinking, I'm sitting on the couch watching it, and they're up there getting paid. I'm like, okay, one day it'll happen.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And it's like, once again, like sports, what do you do after a game? What does your coach make you do, or what does a coach make you do before a
Mhm.
game? Like you have to watch all the film. And I'm a big film person. I like to watch film. I like to see tapes on people, because there's no other better way you can learn from it rather than seeing it right
Absolutely.
then and there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I feel like, especially when it comes to another thing, like about interviewing people that I like to do, is when it comes to 559 fights, I know they're all amateurs, so there's no interviews of them really out there, except for Michael from MLH Media. I love him. He's like a big help with me. He helps me out a lot with it because he does some interviews, but besides his work, there's not really nothing on these guys. We're lucky if there's film on them. So when I interview them, I like to take it from the beginning until the end. So I'm like, why did you start? Like, I want to know you as a person, because the viewers, for you to get a fan base and for you to get viewers to want to watch you fight or to want to come out and see you fight in person, you have to build that personality for them, something that they could relate with. So I like to get, their family history or why they started fighting, what they fight for, just all of that to make them feel more like a person rather than just someone in a cage.
Well, and they need those interviews too to get to that next step.
Hmm.
Promoters, they want to know a little
Yeah.
something about them. Of course, they know what they saw inside those 30 seconds or those 5 minutes of fighting, but they want to know what makes them tick. What's his favorite color? Oh, I didn't know he was influenced by this, or I didn't know he's dedicating this fight to so and so, or oh, I didn't know he overcame
Mhm.
cancer, or I didn't know he was fighting this demon,
Yeah.
and he releases it here. So it's very important that every athlete, even every reporter has that outlet, because there's a lot of things you don't know, and that's why there's questions. That's why there's Q&A. And it's how we present them,
Hmm.
how comfortable we make them feel. And I've watched your work, and you have a knack for making them feel really comfortable. Is there anybody
Oh, thank
along the
you.
way that you would verbally right now just want to thank? You thank somebody at the top of the
Um,
show. Anybody else that has helped pave the way for you, and or has continued to be a big influence in your life besides your parents?
um, there's so many people. So Roxanne and Josh at MyTV53 and Austin Reed, they are the ones who actually helped me. Because before joining MyTV53, I was gonna give up in just fulfilling my dream to be involved in broadcast media, because there was so many things that people wanted me to change, and I'm like, if I change this, I'm not going to be me, I'm not going to be happy. And for them to open up their arms and say, hey, we love your work, we love you for who you are, they're just big, like big time for that. I owe them so much for that. And then the 559 fights community, A1 Combat, they all call me their fight family, and I've never had a fight family before, so I love it now. And everybody's just so nice. You have Brandon, Matt, Jim, Jeremy, Josh, Joey, they're all just so nice, because they knew, like, coming into it, I'm I haven't never fought before in my life. I've been around jujitsu because my little sisters do it, but I've never done it. I've never boxed before. So they knew that, and instead of saying like, "Oh, why is she here? She doesn't know nothing about this. Like, get her out of here." They helped me. They broke everything down for me. If I needed an interview, they were right there to go grab the person for me. And they're very encouraging. They watch every show and they're like, hey, you're doing better. Instead of saying, you know what, she's not growing, they're giving me constant
There
reassurance
you
that,
go.
hey, you're constantly growing. So that's what we want to see.
There you go. Well, you know what? Where can we follow you? How do we stay in contact with you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Alexis with the Z,
I noticed that with the
Victoria
Z.
with the Z. Yeah, my dad wants to be, he wanted to be a little different. And then the Victoria is my mom's name. So I got a little bit of both of them. On Instagram, on Twitter with two A's at the end of Victoria, or Alexis Molina on Facebook. I also have my email linked on my Instagram. So if you ever want to connect, if you guys ever want to do any interviews, I'm trying to bring more content in 2024. Thinking about maybe doing interviews with Central Valley athletes, whether it's past, present, anything like that, or if it's someone that you feel can really make it out the valley. I would love to interview them. I would love to go to high school games and highlight some of the players, just show love to the younger
There
generation.
you go.
So yeah, if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'm open to any and everything.
Well, you know what? Unless I'm giving you the platform right now, unless you have anything for anybody out there special, any dedication or a sponsor that you want to thank right now, Alexis, the platform is yours.
I like to give a huge shout out to Parlier, California. That's where I'm from. I'm from Parlier. We're a really, really small community, but we're really tight knit, and I love that
The Avalos brothers.
they're growing up. Huh?
The Avalos brothers.
Oh, yes, of
Yeah.
course, Avalos Brothers. You have Coach Mike Moreno.
Yeah.
Tyshawn just opened a
I
jujitsu
think Joe
gym here.
Soto's out there too.
There's Yeah, there's so much going on. And then we have, you're a Cowboy fan, Jalen Crawford
Yep.
just signed with them. Like, so many people in Parlier are finally giving our little town some noise and having people recognize where we're from. So just a big shout out to the community. And I work at one of the elementary schools here. So a big shout out to my little Benavides Bengals. They watch me all the time. They think I'm famous.
That's what's up. There you go.
They're like, my teacher's on TV. I'm like, I'm not there yet, but yeah.
There you go. Well, you know what? I appreciate your
Thank you so
time.
much.
I appreciate you being an honest a guest, because a lot of people, they'll kind of hold back, and just having you as a guest, it opens the door for another person. That's why I said, what do you got to say to somebody out there that's wanting to get into broadcasting, especially, females that are out there? And, there's no doors stopping any human being, period. A lot of this, unfortunately, people still live in the old age era where they believe that, oh, men are first and women are second. No, because they probably never had a daughter before, and they never called anybody mom in their whole life, because it's 50-50. They don't walk in front of you or behind you. They walk beside you.
Exactly. And if there's any women watching this that want to get into sports, you're thinking about getting into sports, my DMs are open. I love giving advice. You could intern with me and come to a 5.9 fight. Like, I could make things work. I just want to uplift every woman who thinks of it as a dream, but they're too scared to take that first step. Like, I will help you. I will give you the advice you need. We could work together. We could collaborate, anything.
Hey, you heard it from the one and only Alexis Molina. You're going to see plenty of her and hear plenty of her at all the basketball games, ESPN, 559 fights. And you know what? Sky's the limit for you, Alexis. Once again, I want to thank you for being a guest on our show. We can go back and forth. I have your number now. Any ideas you want to throw my way, or vice versa? If I know of anything coming your way, I'll definitely let you know. And, I believe iron sharpens iron. And all you out there, have you not subscribed to our YouTube channel? Please subscribe now. www.youtube.com/The Fighter's Voice. And you want to be a part of the Fighter's Voice team, and you're a sponsor, and you want your logo out there, you want your company blasted, you want everybody to know about your network and your platform, contact the Fighter's Voice. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. As always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.